Hello! In this video, we'll talk about differentiated instruction and how to do it in your real classes. We are going to take a look at differentiation through three different tools that are choice boards, think-tac-toes, and learning menus. But what is differentiated instruction? Considering all learners, we have students who are at different social levels, with different family compositions. They have different likes, wants, interests, and needs. However, our educational system treats them all the same way. We pretend to treat them all as if they were part of a series. Standardized testing, standardized instruction, standardized results, and standardized everything. So when we think of a differentiated classroom, we think about the different needs of our students, their diversity in many different senses, and also how to cater best for every one of them without having to plan one different lesson for every single student that we have in our class. So according to Carol Tomlinson, main proponent of differentiated instruction, we teachers can differentiate content, process, or product. And we can do it according to student readiness, interest, and learning profile. So I invite you to think of your classes. Which of these three, content, process, and product, do you think is more difficult to differentiate and why? Think about the different universities where you are working or where you have worked, and think about the possibilities that you might have and which would be more challenging for you. Take notes on your Cornell note format. So there are many different things that we can differentiate besides content, product, and process, we think. Some of them are access and resources. We can differentiate the way in which we give information to students. Flexible grouping. We can differentiate the way in which we accommodate them in groups. Mastery level. Not all students start or finish at the same level in a class, and so we could differentiate that. Pace, not every student is going to take the same time in doing something, and so we can foresee that. Choice, giving options to students is a way to differentiate. Feedback, not all students appreciate the one-on-one conference with the teacher, so we can provide other means of providing feedback to them. Learning preferences, I don't like to call it learning styles since that theory was debunked. Homework, we can differentiate homework. Not every student has to give you the same task and the same product to show that they have learned. And student support. How many times have you felt that you would like to support that student a little more, but you can't because you don't have time or because the instruction gets on the way? So once again, think about your classes. What could you differentiate to make sure all students' needs are catered for? Could you differentiate content, process, product, or all of the above? Okay, so even though there are many different possibilities and we can stick to many, we are going to stick to choice today. Because by giving students different choices, we are differentiating instruction for them and we are giving them opportunities to show us in different ways what they have learned. Remember that all of what we talked about today is framed under the flipped learning concept, in where this in which the group space is transformed into a dynamic, interactive learning environment where the educator guides students as they apply concepts and engage creatively in the subject matter. If I differentiate my classes, I can make sure my classes become active and students are all working on what they need to be working. So in my classes, I have 4 different ways to provide choice for my students, and I'm going to walk you through each one of them. So walk with me. The first one is a learning path. When I talk about a learning path, I'm thinking about a lesson that I plan. I plan my 6 different activities or whatever number of activities I have. I created this chart for this in particular with the names of my students and the different activities that they would have to do. Then I use stickers as an accountability measurement, and students would have to kind of report to me during the activity. So when they finished one of the activities, they would get a green sticker if they were ready to move on to the next activity in the chart. a yellow sticker if they were doing it okay, but they could still work a little bit more in there, and a red sticker if they still needed to work hard on that task. So there were different activities. For example, let me get there. One of them was to come up with a conversation where the integration of the grammar structures would happen, and another was, for example, to create some sentences on a poster based on images they had in their hands. So even though there were different activities, all of them aimed at achieving the same pedagogical objective. The second one of my activities is a think-tac-toe. Yeah, so let me take you there. A think-tac-toe is a simple grid, like a tic-tac-toe, you know, but instead of just drawing knots and crosses just because, I put one activity or one little task on every box in the grid, and what students need to do is just pick 3. They pick 3 in a row, yeah, and they do them throughout the class period. Something about this is I give my students small cards, either cardboard cards or post-it notes, and I have them draw the grid on that little paper, and every time they complete one of the activities, they go and see me for some accountability, and then they can either add the knot or the cross to make sure, you know, that they complete their tic-tac-toe. So this is just a way to spice up a silly lesson that you can just take any lesson and put the activities on the chart, and it will become a choice option for your students. The next activity is a learning menu. Yep, you heard it, a menu like in a restaurant. So in the learning menu, what we do is I create a grid as if it were, you know, a restaurant menu with the hot drink, dessert, main course, and the appetizers. And I create activities that go into each one of these boxes. So for example, here in the appetizer, students have the options to create a weekly vocabulary set on Quizlet, to play at least one game in Phonetics Focus, to join a conversation in Voxel Pop, to use ESL Lab, or to use Duolingo. So all of these are websites that are kind of gamified and that students can use in order to practice their English in a more fun way. On the other hand, the main course, for example, are all grammar or language loaded activities. So something that I suggest is, if you're creating a learning menu, make sure that all the elements or all the activities in one determined box have the same level of complexity, and if possible, try to aim for the same skill on Bloom's taxonomy. So main course can be high order thinking skills, and appetizers can be low order thinking skills, just to make sure that all students, regardless of the activity they choose, will have the opportunity to practice. And last but not least, I have choice boards. In this case, the choice board is to showcase the pronunciation improvement. And so what I did was just create a grid where I gave students different products that they can choose from, either a poem, a rap, to rap a song, to do a TV scene, to give a speech, to do a monologue, to tell a news story, to imitate an accent, to narrate a goal, make a music video, or sing a song. So with this product change, I had all my students covered, because this is all what my students liked. I kind of found out that beforehand and knew what I could do for each of my students. I also gave them a free space, you know, just in case something that I propose is not there, is not what they want, so then they have the option to choose. But anyway, this kind of activity, as it gives students choice, it empowers them, and when they choose, they go for it with a higher level of commitment. If you're curious and you would like to explore what a choice board or a learning menu would look for you with tools, technological tools to use in your classes, I invite you to take a look at the links that are here on the slide and to explore on your own. I hope this video helped you and gives you some ideas for using with your students.